After Bray Wyatt debuted his new character in 2019, The Fiend became the next biggest hit for the company. Unfortunately, WWE was too quick to fumble the character and destroy Fiend's momentum. Although Wyatt was still able to recover from that in the upcoming months, WWE once again made a booking mistake at this year's WrestleMania. Though, there seems to be a story going on that a lot of fans aren't able to decipher. The Fiend is such a great character that there's almost always a hidden meaning behind any of his segments and matches. The following attempts in this video from wrestling fans who came up with interesting theories about Wyatt's homicidal character. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt is a very imaginative gimmick, causing plenty of fans to imagine their theories involving the Fiend. Should we let them in? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more wrestling content. Number 10. The Fiend is an illusion. A wrestling fan on Reddit proposed an interesting theory about the Fiend. They believed that the Fiend was only an illusion made by his opponents who have insecurities. The fan noticed that those who have lost to the Fiend yet were the ones who had many weaknesses, and Wyatt preys on it. Stars like Goldberg, who defeated Fiend, as per the fan, didn't show their fear, and that's why they were able to beat him. Number 9. Randy Orton is the Fiend. Ever since Randy Orton beat the Fiend at WrestleMania 37, fans have been really trying hard to understand the motive behind this. A fan shared his crazy theory about the match and said that after Orton burned the Fiend alive at TLC, his spirit went in the Viper. Leading to the WrestleMania match, Orton said that he'll have to take the Fiend out of his life once and for all. As per this theory, we have to assume that the Fiend's spirit is within Orton right now, but that clearly doesn't make sense. This also arises a new question: who is within Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania? If anything, this seems more of an odd theory than anything else. Number 8. Sister Abigail has found a new host. Many fans were furious when the Fiend lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 37 after just one RKO from the Viper. A wrestling fan tried to make sense of this booking, and their theory said that after Orton burned Wyatt at TLC, it released the soul of Sister Abigail, who then found a new host in Alexa Bliss. The fan believes that Fiend's powers stem from Sister Abigail, and now that her spirit is in Bliss, Wyatt is no longer impervious to damage, which is why he lost so easily at WrestleMania. Number 7. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins join alliances with the Fiend. Chaz717 Hilmer, on Twitter, had a very interesting theory about the Fiend. He said that now that Bray Wyatt has returned, he will look for new recruits since Alexa Bliss is no longer with him. The fan thinks that Becky Lynch will join the Fiend upon her return and destroy Alexa, which will then lead to another rivalry with Seth Rollins, who'll come to rescue her fiancé. Number 6. Alexa Bliss is the Fiend now. A wrestling YouTube channel named Polana Productions recently posted a theory on the Fiend. This wrestling fan proposed that after TLC last year, Bray Wyatt technically died and Alexa Bliss received the powers of the Fiend. It also makes sense because Bliss had never done anything magical until after TLC, when she fireballed Randy Orton on Raw. As per this theory, Wyatt doesn't control Bliss, but that she has the spirit of the Fiend now. And Wyatt was brought back from the dead so that Bliss and Fiend could humiliate him. Number 5. The Fiend will kill Lilly. Alexa Bliss recently introduced her friend Lilly to the WWE Universe. She said that Lilly didn't like the Fiend, which forced Bliss to betray Bray Wyatt. Now a fan theory says that the Fiend will now kill Lilly and it'll free Bliss forever. But this doesn't really make a lot of sense because there's strong speculation that Bliss has gotten a lot of powers of the Fiend following the TLC pay-per-view last year. Number 4. Alexa Bliss summoned something really sinister in the absence of Fiend. After Alexa Bliss betrayed the Fiend at WrestleMania, fans had many questions. According to one fan, they believe that Bliss summoned something really sinister in the absence of the Fiend. The fan believes that Bliss's biggest weakness is the feeling of loneliness, which is why the Fiend targeted her in the first place. According to this theory, Wyatt is refusing to let go of Abby's memory in hopes of bringing back his Eater of Worlds gimmick or Sister Abigail in the future. Number 3. The Fiend never wanted to win the Universal Championship. Many fans were upset when the Fiend lost the Universal Championship to Goldberg last year at Super Showdown. One fan believes that Wyatt never originally wanted to win the Universal title in the first place. He just used it to attract those people who had a history with him. While this theory makes some sense, it has many major flaws. For instance, there was the Goldberg match that came out of nowhere, and why couldn't he just use his powers to kick out? Number 2. The Fiend gave Alexa Bliss the spirit of Sister Abigail. Another interesting theory a wrestling fan had was that the Fiend gave Alexa Bliss the spirit of Sister Abigail because Bliss said she was lost. The wrestling fan wrote that perhaps Abigail had an alter ego, Lilith, that Alexa was able to retrieve through her powers. And at WrestleMania, what fans saw was the darker side of Abigail that now resides in Bliss, who apparently isn't a fan of Wyatt. Number 1. Someone else played the Fiend at WrestleMania. Before the annual release spree in April, many fans believed that Alexa Bliss had brought a fake Fiend in WWE. Many believed Bo Dallas to be the person behind the mask, but this theory was proved wrong when WWE released Dallas among other wrestlers. But many other fans believed Aleister Black was going to become a part of the Fiend's storyline in some way. Some even believed that he was the fake Fiend fans saw at WrestleMania, which doesn't make sense because of what happened on the post-WrestleMania episode of Raw. Boom! Renee Paquette is on cloud 9, and why shouldn't she be? Her daughter is here, and the former WWE host cannot keep calm. She announced the joyful news in Twitter and explained she will bring forth some notable guests to the audience as well. In fact, she's starting with none other than her husband and baby daddy, AEW pro wrestler Jon Moxley. Quite a while ago, Jon Moxley had revealed Renee Paquette was pregnant during an AEW segment. It took a while for everyone to grasp the statement, but when they did, congratulations poured in from across the globe for the expecting couple. Considering Paquette was running her podcast Oral Sessions from home, it's possible she might not take a long break from it. However, even if she does, it's understandable. The couple have not revealed too many details about their baby, but their fans are eagerly waiting for more updates. After Paquette quit WWE, there were rumors she might join AEW. It wasn't unexpected because Jon Moxley was already working with the company and it just made sense. However, instead of joining a new company or a new promotion, she started her own podcast, Oral Sessions with Renee Paquette. She has had several pro wrestlers on her show and has often highlighted the issues with the industry. In fact, she was one of the first people to question WWE's policy of banning superstars on third-party platforms. Next, she openly claimed that the company letting go of Samoa Joe was a big mistake. Now that she is a mother, there is absolutely no chance of her joining a new company anytime soon. Even if she wants to come back to being a talk show host, it'll be after months. Coming to why she quit WWE, it was because of the company not having a proper plan for her. She realized that all she could achieve at WWE was done, and if she wanted to explore more or grow more, she had to pursue other dreams. She revealed not having a lot to do after WWE canceled WWE Backstage, and that's when she wanted to find something that would excite her. As a result, she quit the company and moved on to fresh projects.
Oh, let me up with a bright smile on now. Put me in the dark, so won't get lost now. To the moonlight,